So much shorter.
Yeah, I had no idea how the timing on that was going to be. I'm not messing around.
Not messing around. A 10-second intro, but nonetheless an intro. Welcome, everybody, to Astrology and Alchemy with Paranormal Sarah and Matt Slosier. It's not Tuesday, which normally we would be on a Tuesday. It's one day behind, and I thank you guys so much for your patience. It was my son's birthday, so we did a birthday thing. So that's what we did. So that's why you guys are joining us maybe one day late, but thank you. Where are you joining us from? And how are you doing? Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. We were supposed to have really big storms and we didn't get any, so it just rained.
I'm telling you.
I shouldn't say that. Like, to the east of us had a tornado, so I don't want to belittle like folks that got nothing like what they had in Texas or Louisiana, but at least we had one.
Speaking
but
of
nothing here.
Last week's show. If you're new, welcome. If you're not new and you were joining us last week, we told you, go back and watch it. On the 21st, the equinox, the solstice, we ended with like all the psychics around the world are talking about great natural disasters. What do you predict? And we talked about hot water with air and how that mixes. And like, I think I said, gosh, I really am struggling. And I don't want to say Katrina, but like getting these vibes. And so when we got some really crazy messages. Hi, Christy, Pepper, Donna, Mary, all of you guys, welcome. About how did we know? How did we know? We didn't know. You never know for sure. You never have a guarantee. We're not a Sith. But astrology and alchemy, and when combined, it's like Captain Planet. Earth, water, air, fire, spirit, heart. Man, it's statistics, right? It's statistics. How do you describe it when someone says like, astrology, you believe in that? You believe in that crap, Matt? What do you tell them, Matt, when people are trying to be all skeptical?
Well, I didn't. I thought it was bunk, to be honest with you. But then I just started kind of following some. It's. I always still say it's kind of like the whole like Matrix thing. So it's tells. It doesn't cause any of the things. It just gives you kind of like tells as to how things are kind of lined up. Like, I always use the example of in the fall, when the leaves change color, you can tell that cold weather's coming, but the leaves changing color doesn't make the cold weather, doesn't cause cold weather. It's a sign.
It's just,
it's like not a full moon and crazy crap happen in the emergency room. Some people say that's all just in your head. I don't know, but everyone that I know that works in the medical field will tell you they have a horrible time on full moons. So,
well, and it makes me think of kind of how people, when they're talking about correlation isn't causation and statistics, that's kind of how I feel about that. It's like, yeah, I mean, the leaves aren't turning colors because it's the fall, and the fall doesn't make the leaves turn green, but like when there's more there that you don't see or do see or don't see or kind of see, it's going to make sense. It really is connected. You know what I mean? It's kind of cool.
It's those gears working in the background.
It does get those gears, like what you've got, Matt, going when you're doing a birth chart or when you're doing an astrology reading. By the way, guys, contact him for these. They are amazing. If you're feeling uncertain in these uncertain times, man, birth charts. Look at the day you were born and that energy, the chemistry, the periodic table that was imprinted on you in your meat suit, and then see how the moon, the sun, and different things can really play into that, making the best possible scenario happen. Using that deja vu, using some statistics and math and science in your life to get a better outcome. Yes. If Dan Aykroyd can do it, you can do it. So that means we can do it together. So,
which I'll add real quick because we'll start plugging these things from our show where we did the picks for the year because we're getting into some big ones. So I'll stick with it. I'll put my name out there one way or the other. So I'm still saying on or around April 12th, Roe v. Wade gets overturned. On or around April 26th, there will be big protests and unrest here in the U.S. And then in May, and I hope I'm wrong on this, but in May, a virus or sickness worse than COVID breaks out. And just when everyone's coming back out and everything's getting to open back up, we're all going to either go back in or I'll get sick with something a lot worse.
Say it ain't so. And if you joined us in January for the very beginning, our predictive space, you know how we felt about the whole year and why. We walked through it with you and you had your paper out. And Christy, just one of the many people joining us, she even says, like, man, sometimes that astrology and alchemy, it gets confusing. You know, I'm even out there buying books. You know, I'm a cusp baby. I'm buying rocks and stones and trying to figure it out, but it's hard. That's why we're glad that you're joining us, because it takes sometimes just those little steps, those baby steps. Mary says a virus or a nuke. Could be either.
Virus.
Could be both.
This is a bug.
Could be either. Could be both.
Could be a bug.
Bug.
Be a bug. Doesn't mean it's not intentionally released, but it's going to be a bug.
Could be both. Radioactive. Get out your piece of paper. Get out your pen. Get ready, and then write down what you feel, what you think when we're talking about this, like those things that pop in your mind. Write it down and go week by week through repetition and just familiarity. You'll get the hang of it, and by 4th of July, dang, you'll be an astrologer, and you'll be much more psychic, in tune, and aware about the things happening in your life, and be like, oh, no, that makes sense. You feel so much stronger and empowered when I'm working in the mental health field to be able to be like, stop blaming yourself. Stop carrying that bull crap around when it's really something that's going on out there. You're reacting. I'm reacting. I mean, you're still responsible for your reactions, but you don't have to be the cause or the broken. Anyway, let's get to it. You guys, last week we would have shared with you what was happening today. How did you feel today? How were you doing today? Were you exhausted? Were you hanging in there? Were you napping? Were you feeling like, I just can't? Were you quitting on people today? Were you overfeeling? Or were you completely shut down and apathetic? Because Wednesday, today, Matt, already passing, already here, but in it, Mercury in Pisces conjunct Neptune in Pisces. When you hear that,
Sarah's favorite.
I hate Neptune in Pisces. I hate it.
That's dreams, delusions, fog, seeing the wrong things, and Mercury is communication in this kind of introspective space. So I'll just say right now that this is miscommunication. This is almost like what you would stereotypically look at, like Mercury in retrograde type space. So if you had communications today, keep this in mind, that people misunderstanding or people saying things that they didn't quite mean, like it's just things will get misunderstood today. So
absolutely,
if somebody said something that upset you or confused you, don't get too upset about that, because that's kind of out in the air. And so just wait and ask for clarification, but ask for clarification tomorrow or Friday. Don't ask for it today, because you'll just get more jumbled clarification. So just wait, let it pass.
Let it pass. If you are feeling self-destructive, don't. Slap yourself. Stop it. Stop it. Why? Because you don't care, no one else cares, or people are over-caring, so cut it out. No one's going to notice it despite all the crazy chaos. Chill out. Take a chill pill. Refocus. And luckily, thank goodness, there is a George Carlin in the sky after all. There's going to be some comedic irony, some movement tomorrow morning when we wake up. And when we're talking about this energy, guys, when we get off tonight even, do some earthing, some grounding, some anchoring, some foundation, some plants. Heaven forbid you get an excuse to go buy some plants. Go scry with some plants, some tea leaves in the bottom, divination, tonics. Woo! Tomorrow, Thursday, March 24th, one thing happens and the moon enters Capricorn. Doo-doo. What does that mean?
Capricorn's the little goat climbing the mountain. Gets to the top of the mountain, wants to climb another mountain. All about achievement, checking boxes, getting crap done. So this is all in that emotional space of getting stuff done. So this is going to be emotions channeled into productivity. So this is going to be, so this is going to be kind of, I'm picturing kind of what I'm just getting right now as we're talking is kind of like ants. You know, they're all kind of just working, just doing their thing. So this is just going to be busy bees tomorrow. Like people are just going to be emotionally motivated to get stuff done.
Busy bee. The moon, I think of the menstrual cycle, the waves, the tides, the fluid of our feelings, the moon, our influences. In Capricorn, in that little goat, that little stubborn, not really quite sure what a goat is thinking, but they are very lovable. Capricorn, it's always kind of even in like story and myth and the Bible, even, heaven forbid. The Bible mentions the zodiac. It does actually. And that these are hybrid creatures, channeling things, working with many hands. What do you think of? What are you predicting? What do you feel? What do you divinate? What? True. For tomorrow, knowing that feelings for everyone out there are going to be entering into Capricorn. I think. What do you think?
I think coming after at it today and all the miscommunications and things, people are going to be potentially acting on that stuff. So if you're somebody that you feel you did a communication that somebody misinterpreted, you may want to work to clarify, because people will be acting on what was done today. And remember, kind of like once it's out there, it's out there. So I also want to add quick, we had some comments on a cusp. Now I know there might be different opinions on this, but I view like you can't be partially pregnant. So I view, even if you're in a cusp, you're still in a sign. You're in one sign or another. So still go with your sign. You may bleed a little bit more energies of other signs in it, but still go with the sign that your planet is in. And unless you're like, straight on, but you should be in one or the other, unless you really
1
like
minute in and 1
right.
minute out.
Yeah. I mean, that would be really, it can happen, but I mean, that would be really rare.
A dangling child.
I just wanted to add about that. So yeah, you're still, even if you're really close and right on the edge, you're still in one sign or the other. So
Yeah.
that's my opinion.
Yeah. I'm only partly dead. No, you're dead. No, I'm not. You are. Yeah, you either are or you aren't. I have both of my children are cusp babies, and so I kind of feel that energy. I'm always wondering if they're one or the other, or how we might use that energy. But the birth chart, when it breaks down those 12 houses and even additional nodes and things, you're going to see pretty clear indications and influences. For me, when I think the moon in Capricorn, specifically tomorrow, I'm getting a Sherlock Holmes energy. I'm getting that look closer, that magnify, that busy bee, that planning for long-term health, that pollinating, allergies, kind of working with magic and herbology and plants in that way for preventative things. But as usual, it's a chess game. It's strategic, where we are seeing each move ahead. So Friday, we get to look ahead. Oh, two things happen. Okay. These are kind of interesting. The first shift is just the moon again, a last quarter moon. We wake up Friday morning saying, here I am, the last quarter moon in Capricorn. Last quarter moon in Capricorn. So it just kind of reiterates that same feeling. But what might you add?
All right. So I always have to think about this. So this is a Pisces cycle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so this is kind of that last sign of the cycle. So that deathbed perspective, and so kind of what are we going to do? It's more selfless. It's more kind of, what do I want my legacy to be? All that kind of stuff. So this is the last moon phase in that cycle. So I would say, again, since Capricorn's about getting things done, this is kind of a introspection onto, okay, looking at all that, doing that whole perspective. What are the things you want to achieve? What do you actually want to do? So I would call this like bucket list energy. These are like bucket list type thoughts, bucket list type moments.
Interesting. I had written final deeds. I had written final deeds for that morning's meditation. On my monthly meditation that you guys get to join me on social media, I do kind of my little words in advance and put them on my Gmail for my Gypsy Tribe members. I put final deeds. I put taking a practical approach to anything that really does need to be done. Those taxes, that stack of mail that every time you walk by it, it gives you a lump in your throat, that moon, that last quarter. This is that 2-minute warning in a football game. This is that not a Hail Mary. It's not that close to the tail end. It's the last quarter. So this is giving you the opportunity to, come on now, sign it, do it, turn it in, get it done, do it. Go ahead, do it. So when you say bucket list energy, I do think about necromancy, magic. I think about grave dust, goofer powder, goofer dust. I think about purgatory. I think about the card judgment and a tarot deck. But there's one more thing that's going to happen, and then I kind of want to see maybe what you divinate or what you think for Friday in your predictions. And don't forget, guys, write these down if you're joining us. The moon in Capricorn, but it's trine. That's my dog. Uranus in Taurus. What does that mean?
So, and I'll let him go. That's why anybody saw me looking away, he was hiding underneath me. So I was giving him his little. He's still hiding. All right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have got distracted there. So trine is synergy, and so you said it was moon in Capricorn. So again, we had that
moon in Capricorn,
getting things done.
Uranus and Taurus.
Uranus and Taurus. It's been there the whole time. I mean, it moves very slowly. So that's that weird one. It's Uranus is rebellion. It's kind of the curveball. Taurus is stable and indulgent. So I always consider this one as it's rebelling by not doing something. There, now he's down. Rebelling by not doing something. So this is synergy. So this is emotionally getting things done, having synergy by, this is a weird one, having synergy with rebelling by not doing. So I'm going to look at this and see, how can you accomplish something?
This is neglect.
Strategically by not doing something that you're supposed to do.
Neglect.
So I would give an extra look at people on Friday that didn't do something they were supposed to do. I hate to fuel kind of paranoia or anything in here, but there could be an ulterior motive for that. It might be more than just, hey, I forgot. They may have deliberately not done it as part of trying to achieve something else.
This is in a space where if you're working with us in the occult and the gypsy space and that spiritual, ritualistic space, this is really a great space on shame, motives, intentions. This is yin, so yin energy, but Capricorn, Taurus. This is earth, moon, slightly feminine, water, Uranus. This is earth spaces. Getting in tune with what your plans, preventions, intentions, seeds, the mustard seeds. What is it that you're growing? And knowing how to create that space. Growth, seeds. And so that means like in the garden, but also in your mind. When you say working someone's intentions, this is navigating. You don't go out on your ship with just your sunstone. You go out there with your compass and your sunstone and your co-captain and your extra water, just in case. Because, well, your intentions aren't just to, be out on the water, but to live. You have to think about ulterior motives as well. What is going to really be happening? So when you're thinking about that, guys, share in the chat room if you will, or if you feel comfortable. What are your predictions for that space? What do you see going down?
Yeah, what's going to not get done?
Please come and save us, I hear across the world. Please come and save us.
I'm doing a card to try to help me here.
And we won't answer. We'll be late. We'll say, oh my gosh, we're not there.
Yeah, this is... This is tough. I'm feeling like, to much your point, somebody's going to need help and they're not going to get that. I don't think this is going to be a war thing. I know I've done a lot of Ukraine. I don't feel like this is a Ukraine thing. I think this is going to be more like a domestic thing.
Could be a city.
There's going to be an aid thing. And
could be New Orleans.
It's going to be like oops, sorry, no, we didn't. And it's going to be, as much as I'm not a conspiracy person, it's going to be more like oh, sorry, we can't. No, it's going to be like screw you, deliberate neglect.
It's going to be, oh yeah, I'm sorry, we couldn't. I didn't know. We don't have any left. We didn't do that, or we can't right now. Me.
Mm-hmm.
And think about how this happens in your micro life too, because everything, as the anthill is, connected to Mother Earth. Yes, it is.
I
It
got it.
absolutely is. What is it?
There is going to be, whether it's a cyber thing or some company mishap. I don't want to go as far as disaster, but there's going to be some mishap on Friday, and it's going to be an accident, but it's really going to be just a cost cutting, or we did something because we didn't want to do it. It's going to be a negligence thing that's going to try to be spun as an accident, and it's going to be something with some company or something here in the U.S.
I think it might be right.
So
let's watch it go down.
Whether it's they didn't take the right precautions and we get hacked, or whether it's somebody didn't do the right safety things and something bad happens. But that's what's going to happen Friday.
And so for Christy and other people kind of just joining us that might be, really getting their feet wet into astrology, and good morning, Sharon, and other people from around the world, South Africa, Australia, all over. I think we're saying that weird, eccentric, wild, funky, something out of left field is because of the way things are moving. Capricorn is long-term, Capricorn is investment, and it's like a guitar being strummed with the planets. And Pluto is in Capricorn. Other planets are in the same frequency that suggest major movement. And Uranus is the planet that like spins its own way and is super, like, it completely defies physics. It's Winona Ryder, as I often say. It does its own thing. It's very hard to predict. So it's going to be something that's a webbing, that's like a yank or a pull. So write down your predictions, guys, so you can look back and have the validation. Share it in the chat. Be brave. There's no judgment here. There's only excitement to see what we can learn from each other and to grow. Now, Saturday, we see more. What? It's true. I see the whole week in advance. I can see as far as I want to without my brain exploding full of astrology. But let's just do a week. That's all I can really handle these days because I'm a mom and I work on all these jobs and all these things. Matt, you've got quadruplets. Literally has quadruplets. Matt has quadruplets. So I just tell myself that if Matt can do it, I can do it. We can do it. Saturday, March 26th, the moon moves. Oh, our feelings, the moon, the menstrual cycles, the mood swings of us move into Aquarius with another movement. But first, the moon enters Aquarius Saturday morning. What does that mean?
All right. Well, Aquarius rules Uranus, so it's the same kind of thing. It's that curveball. It's as you said, the Winona Ryder. I'll say it's kind of like it's like the troll of. It's the actually I have some Aquarius energy. Actually I don't. So I don't. But I guess it's the air energy. I have these features, but I don't really have Aquarius in me. It's we're gonna stir stuff up just to see what happens, just for kind of entertainment. So it's the stir things up. It's kind of rebellious. It's a change agent. It's innovative. You can view it different ways. So, but it's always kind of like a curveball. So it's out of the box. And so we're going from emotionally getting stuff done to emotionally either thinking about things different, feeling differently about things, wanting to stir things up. So it's innovative, it's different, it's provocative, it can go in a bunch of different ways. A lot of this is going to depend on what you're going to tell me is happening next. But I will say in general, whereas we went from a constructive energy, this is going to be a little more of a combative energy. So I'm expecting more tumultuous stuff on Saturday.
Knowing that
I'm wondering if it's a confirmation, if something bad's going to come out in the confirmation hearings on Friday, it's going to have people like pissy and like arguing on Saturday.
Well,
I never would have said that if that was a man candidate or something like that.
Right.
That's what I'm picturing.
Well, and that it's exactly that though, because I think of my modality of choice is neurolinguistic programming. So what I mean in that is like when I'm working in forensic counsel spaces, if I'm interrogating someone, neurolinguistic programming is my tool of choice. I like to listen and splice and pay attention to someone's word choice. Really, really listen to what they're telling me and what they're not telling me. And that energy of going from earth thoughts and intentions, you've thought about it. And your feelings, a lot of feeling in that too. Like I felt and thought a lot about this for a while, for a few days. And then boom, then you have Aquarius, the baby in the bathwater, that combative. You hear it in someone's language when they go, you know what? Or, you know what, actually? Or, you know what I was told? Or, you know what I've been thinking? Actually, I don't know if you know this, but like this, all kind of the same phrase, same wording, stepping out into the same space. It's going to be interesting. So, what's the next thing that happens on Saturday? Mercury. Mercury is our voice, right? Mercury in Pisces, sextile Pluto and Capricorn. So there's that big life shift, Pluto, that planet way out there that suggests major transformation. And that Capricorn that we were just thinking about, those thoughts, oh yeah, let me talk about it. What do you get from Mercury and Pisces, sextile Pluto and Capricorn?
Well, Pluto, again, Pluto's the impersonal planet all the way out there. So it's big change. It's transformational change. It's impersonal change. Pluto doesn't give a crap. So it's just going to happen one way or the other. Since it's been in Capricorn, it's all in this space of, achievement, getting things done. Sextile is synergy. So we have this Mercury thoughts and communication in this introspective, kind of selfless, artsy space, having synergy with these big, profound changes in the achievement area. So this is, I see this, I've said this before on some of these things. This is kind of people either verbally or ideas. So this isn't really action. This isn't Mars. This is more like verbally. This is kind of people willing to sacrifice and kind of throw themselves on their sword for big, profound change and greater good. So again, look for some sacrificial. Maybe since it's Mercury, it's going to be proposals. So looking for some ideas and things that people are going to put forth on Saturday that could be pretty revolutionary, pretty big changing, and kind of for the greater good, but it will change big things. So I know there's some big meetings going on the world stage this weekend and stuff. Look for maybe some big proposals, big things getting teed up there that could be on that end.
Key up. Man, that's an interesting phrase to use in that space. Key up, revolutionary. What do you think? What do you think? What do your cards say? What do you predict? What is this going to be?
It's funny. I got on the cards, 3 of Cups, which you always, I learned this one from you. It's the celebration, but somebody's going to get sick. So it's like the, this is, so I view this almost as this is going to sound good on Saturday. So it's going to be like, yay. Maybe it's even going to be a peace deal or something, but there's going to be something bad that's going to come with it. And the bad thing might come out later, but.
Yeah, I kind of get in essence that there might be, I'm going to say that, I'm going to go to the Queen on this one. I'm going to say the Queen, the Judgment, a definite theme. I'm also going to say Tulsi again comes up in a space showing here for America. A few different major players being judged, the 2 columns. Ooh, yeah. Yeah. Let's see how some things change this Saturday, which is not a big news day, by the way. Usually people aren't paying attention to the news so much. It's going to be Sunday morning after church, after they've gossiped, after they've gotten up, after they've had their hungover, after they're catching up on the news, after going out for the weekend and listening to their Joe Rogan podcast or whatnot. Hopefully you're checking out No Man's Land and our other things that we do here on the Paranormal Channel and Odyssey Radio. But What are we going to be doing? What's the
I'm
news going to say?
just going to go as far as I think there's going to be some big deal. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be Ukraine, but I think with everything going on in Europe, there's going to be a big deal that's going to come out of Europe that on the surface is going to sound really good, but dive into the details because there's going to be a downside to it. Whether it's an energy or economic thing, or whether it is Ukraine, there's going to be some big announcement on Saturday.
I'll wait for it.
Sounds good, but
I like big butts, and wait, no, not that kind of butt. No, we're talking conjunction, junction. What's your function? That's what we're talking about. Because Sunday, and again, guys, write this down. Whatever little thoughts are popping into your man, I bet it's going to be this. I bet it's going to be this. Oh, no, it couldn't. But whatever that is, whatever those thoughts are, write them down. Write it down. Sunday, March 27th. Mercury. That's right, it's your voice. Enters Aries. That's it. Sunday, Mercury enters Aries. Talk about communication on fire. What does it mean?
So have you ever been in one of those situations where somebody's been quiet on something for a really long time and then all of a sudden they like explode? That's kind of Mercury shifting from Pisces to Aries. It's going from this introspective, broad view, take one for the team, greater good, to the first sign, which is, again, I mean, nothing negative on this, but impulsive. I kind of again view it as like the teenager of the cycle. So think of how, the world to a teenager is, a 5-day perspective, a week perspective. They're not thinking a month out. They're not thinking. So it's this huge shift from big, broad perspective to impulsive and very, very quick. So you're having this communication go from it's best if I keep my mouth shut to all of a sudden impulsive. I don't give a crap. I'm just going to say what I'm thinking. So this is those dynamics where somebody just absolutely all of a sudden loses it and then just unloads 3 years worth of pent up emotional crap and just blows up and dumps it on you all in like 30 seconds. So look for that. Look for almost like a geyser or volcano. Look for verbal eruptions on Sunday.
You have
not a day to bring it. Just, I'm going to be really clear on this, all caps. Not a day to initiate tough conversations with people. You don't want to do that.
Not a day to initiate tough talk. You heard it here. And for those who are not joining us in the chat room or joining us live, shame. When you're looking at the way science is, and kind of when we're talking about this in a spiritual space, you have your earth, water, your air, fire. You have this quantum way, this Taoistic, dualistic, just very basic from feminine to masculine, but also it expands. Thank you, Sacred Geometry, for telling us so. But Earth over here, we've been in Capricorn, Pisces. It's been 8/0 for some time now. And all of a sudden, it's going to burst into Aries. And when we say Aries, it's the most direct, it's a cardinal of the fire, meaning it's the farthest away from your thoughts. Oh, of course, it's technically right around the corner and will be very shortly as it circles back around and expands like a DNA spiral. But when you're looking at it in a freeze frame at those attributes, technically the cardinal fire is the farthest thing from the thought or intention, the feelings, any of that it's going to push right here. It's going to push right there. And man, Mercury in Aries, that's a bull. That's that fiery, direct, assertive. I think of Mel Gibson on the hill with a kilt on. Who? It's the momentum of passion. It's Eros energy. It is. And that's hard to stop. That's hard to control.
I think of the person you always cringe that you don't want to go out in public with because you're embarrassed about what they're going to say. If you ever know one of those kind of people, that's this kind of energy. So I put it in the chat. count to 10 before speaking, sleep on text, sleep on emails, because this applies to everybody. This energy is going to be like, there's going to be this push to kind of get things off your chest and get it out there after having it bottled in. And it's not necessarily going to be constructive. So just breathe, sit on it, make sure it take, because it's impulsive. That's the biggest thing.
That's that. Breathe, take it back in. Take it back in. Don't let it be. Take it back in. Think about what you're doing. You know what? Before I say this, I'm going to think real quick because, and you probably won't. In which case we say, God dang it. Look at me explode today. You go, oh, that's right. It's Aries energy. I'm really in tune with Aries energy. But you also know full well, what could likely happen in that space. If our
Aries
world
is
leaders,
great at taking initiative, but just realize these aren't well thought out strategic plans. These are quick,
now,
bam, go get it.
fire!
So, they'll get it done. They'll take the initiative. They'll get these things done, but these things haven't been really planned out.
Right. So use this energy wisely. And this is a Sunday. So this is that day for us to sit in silence and to meditate, to maybe separate and just prepare ourselves for the week ahead, because then that's going to leave us with Monday and Tuesday.
Oh, so real quick, I know we're getting clipped, but real quick, let me just add on predictions.
Oh, yeah.
Whether it's an open mic or some kind of guffaw, somebody's going to say something really, really stupid on Sunday. I'll go far, at least for us folks in the States. Something here in the States is we have these Sunday morning political shows where they all talk. Somebody's going to say something really dumb
on a Saturday night.
And that's going to be on. No, it's going to be on the. I'm thinking it's going to be the Sunday news shows.
Sunday. Oh, okay. So it's going to happen on Sunday.
And then that statement, that quote, is going to be on the news like the next couple days, because somebody's going to say something really stupid, and then they're going to get stuck on it because they didn't think it through what they were saying.
I love this.
So look for something to break on Sunday of some controversial statement somebody made.
And again, for those of you writing this down, doing that dissociative stream, using this for divination and practice and intuitive growth, who's it going to be? What are they going to say? On the world stage, on your stage, micro and macro. Think about it. Write it down. Who are you getting? Who's coming to mind? Think about it, think about it, think about it, think about it, think about it. And then apply this information, because we've got some more information. Monday.
Oh, people put it in the chat. People are saying they have a feeling who it is.
Who?
So
who's it going to
be? Go ahead and share, folks.
Ooh. Yeah. And some really good advice. People sharing their advice too, which I love. Thank you guys for that, by the way. Monday. You know that day. Monday, March 28th. Man, guys, the year's just flying by. It's going to be April before we know it. Monday, March 28th. One thing happens, but it's significant. And it tells another piece of the story. Venus, vagina. That's right, Venus in Aquarius. The watery air. The air sign. Venus in Aquarius conjunct Saturn. If you like it, then you should put a ring on it. In Aquarius. Ah, yes, Aquarius, the watery air sign, yes. Wait, Venus in Aquarius conjunct Saturn in Aquarius? What's that mean?
Well, conjunct is combining the energies. If you kind of figure, like Centaur is like, half human, half horse, kind of. So you're combining the energies on this. So Saturn, so this is another weird combo, because Saturn is the rules. Think of like the rings as restrictions, but Aquarius is kind of out of the box, rebelling, out of the rules. So I view this combo as an opportunity to change the rules, break the rules, combining with Venus, romance or money. Usually we emphasize the romance piece. Also in that innovative kind of break the rules. So this is combining that romantic energy with kind of an innovative out of the norm space with this already innovative Saturn break the rules space. So this is a, kind of really out of the box romantic energy space. So I would say unconventional relationships will be highlighted. Don't be surprised if, on the news scale, a very surprising unconventional relationship breaks in the news.
Are we talking affairs? Are we talking unique in what way?
I would say it doesn't have to be. I would say it could be surprising. So it could be either. It could be an affair. It could be like a couple that looks, that we'd be totally shocked that that's going on. But I'm thinking more just kind of unique. So this could either be a very big age difference. This could be, a couple you didn't suspect their gender preference comes out and you didn't suspect that that's what it was. So you were like surprised by it. It could be something like that. Things along those lines. It could be a combo of that. It could be not only that, but then there's a big age difference. It could be even in the roles. So it could be kind of controversial of the roles of the relationship. If you think kind of boss employee, things along those lines, things that maybe, should be kind of taboo, but this kind of out of the box, innovative. Yeah. So it's something along those kind of lines. So
status, role play, tongue in cheek. Yes, I like it. I like it because, again, that Venus sensuality and Aquarius, I always think throwing the baby out with the bathwater. I always think be careful. Something could be quite emotional in what you're doing as you're just saying things, like, oh, we're just friends. What? Well, yeah, I mean, I've always just that we're like things could be said that could really be quite emotional. Saturn rings. I think of erosion. I think of NASCAR does. And indeed, this is the center of our galaxy in an essence of that things are rules here. Things are the guidelines. Things are the line in the sand right here. And in the past few years, guys, the pandemic, in the last few years, Aquarius, age of Aquarius, what the Mayans were talking about, what all of these other cultures were instigating in the shift. We went from Pisces to Aquarius and a lot of these major planets, Saturn being one of them. And now, when we feel that Venus in Aquarius combined with Saturn in Aquarius, you have the ding, 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 ding. And it's like, ooh, that kind of sounds nice. It spills over those lines. It spills over the rules, and you might kind of rub shoulders with something you didn't expect. And how is that going to look and feel? Who is that going to be? What does your divination say? Do you have any before we get into the last day? Because then we just have one more thing for Tuesday.
It kind of did, and then it kind of went away.
People are saying
I don't know why. I'm thinking just intuition here. The age thing hit me. So I'm thinking there's going to be some relationship that comes out and I think it's going to hit it. It's going to check a couple boxes. So there's going to be an age difference. There's going to be a power dynamic. There's going to be a surprising element to it. And then that's going to drive controversy. So, I'm thinking the older person is going to be the man, possibly, kind of leaving a relationship for a younger person that they're in some working with on this or something. It's going to be something along those lines.
Okay. I'm thinking Hugh Hefner. We got some stuff going on with that. I see some stuff with Keanu Reeves in my mind. I'm seeing, but like who in my mind? Like, okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of thinking a Hollywood thing, and I'm kind of thinking it's like a quote unquote
like
one of
Madonna,
kind of one of the happy couples. One of these that you thought were just like really stable, and then all of a sudden,
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively.
And all of a sudden, there's like a weird split.
Don't tell me that. Okay.
So a happy couple, they split for a co-star, and there's going to be something else, or like an age difference there or something.
Okay. Okay. Well, and here we go. We put the final piece on. Let's see if it gives us anything, you guys. If anybody's dangling with a cliffhanger, it goes on and on and on, by the way, life. It never ends. No, don't do that. Tuesday. It'll be less than a week away. Tuesday, March 29th. Coming up on the end of the month. Get those things done, guys. Use this last little chunk of energy moving in that Capricorn space to do it, because on Tuesday, March 29th, the moon, of course, the moon. A lot of moon movement this week, a lot of feelings. The moon enters Pisces. Say it ain't so. Moon enters Pisces. What does that mean? Feelings.
Again,
Moving
that
into
moon.
water.
So it's gonna be weird. So after this like Aries like explosion 2 days earlier, you're gonna get in this rebellious emotional stuff on Monday. You're gonna move into this. Again, that we've had a lot of Pisces stuff. So introspective, big picture, selfless. So this is kind of, I think I've described it this way before, but I view this as like, this is like that deep view inside emotionally. So this is like where you turn and take a deep look at like what's inside of you. And so are you going to like what you see or aren't you? So a little bit of self-care on Tuesday, because depending on what happens when you take that deep look, I know you like that whole, that quote about looking into the abyss. I don't view looking inside as looking into the abyss, but it's kind of the same kind of thing. You take that look inside, and depending on what you see, can have a pretty good emotional reaction. So take care of yourself on Tuesday. And that it'll be an emotional day.
Well, the abyss, the void. When you look into the abyss looks into you. It's true. And when you see the monsters, they see you. It's that recognition. It's the observation theory. It's validation. It's being seen. When you've been seen, Kitty Genevieve's, depending on how many are watching you, you will absolutely act differently. You'll react differently. You'll respond differently. You'll change a little bit. You will be entangled. And so the void and the abyss is real. Self-care, deep dive, psychoanalysis. What does it mean? What does it mean? That who are you? It is very cathartic, scary, feeling, wishy-washy, wet, emotional, maybe crying, maybe laughing. There might be some spillage is the word I'm hearing, which I hate to say that, because let's take this moment before we end the session to any final predictions, any divination, any thoughts we want to add for how this week ahead, now that we see how the stars and the moon and the planets are aligning, what do we know is going to happen? What do we think?
I feel sad about saying this. I hate making these predictions in like the Ukraine stuff, but I think Maripol falls on Tuesday. I think it's like the big Alamo moment on Tuesday.
Oh,
and that's the
say
moon
that
in
again.
Pisces. Maripol, the one where they have it all surrounded and all cut it. Like I think it finally has the big like Alamo moment on big sacrificial Alamo moment on Tuesday. Hope I'm wrong. I always hate predicting bad stuff, but that's kind of the vibe.
Well, and again, they're not an expectation. They're not a hope.
I'm not making it happen. It's just,
no.
I hate when you get bad vibe. Like,
we are not doing suggestive Philip experimentation type stuff. We are not doing that. But it is, what do we see? What do we think? How can this possibly be something to help us or help other people, or to just be aware of our surroundings? When I see myself using the word spillage and you saying the Alamo moment, I do get like Pancho Villa. I do get I don't get a peaceful feeling. I get Pee-wee's Big Top Adventure, the Alamo, and finding out it doesn't have a basement. There's so much wordplay there with the moon entering Pisces of like, what? It's sandwiched between a Hooters and a McDonald's, and it doesn't even have a basement? Like, yeah. And the Eiffel Tower has a really long line, and there's mesh at the top that you can't get a good picture off of. And the Egyptian pyramids are right literally right next to a bunch of bars.
Mm-hmm.
It's not out in the middle of the desert. It's not. What? Yeah. No. That feeling, that deep dive and that spillage of fantasy into reality and reality into fantasy and what things could, should, and will. I really feel like that's going to come into play on Tuesday after some of these major transformations. Moving into spring, there's been a lot of overdoses, suicides, major shifting of, I just can't take this anymore. I just can't. That spillage, the meniscus, it's bursting, micro and macro. And how does that change the world around us when everyone's exploding like a minefield?
It just hit me on the guffaw on Sunday, so we'll see if I'm right or not. But I think somebody's gonna make probably somebody. It's gonna be about the confirmation again, and somebody's gonna make some really dumb, kind of like ignorant, racially charged statement on Sunday.
I feel like Pope Francis, as much as and I do love Pope Francis, actually, to be honest. And I've really not enjoyed a Pope so much as he. God, he put Darth Vader astronaut alien shit on the damn native. I mean, come on, the nativity scene. He's going to say something dumb. On Sunday, I think he's going to say something about Easter. Gosh dang it. I feel like it. Anyway. All right, you guys, that is all we have for the week ahead. That's it in the astrology. But if you're thinking, you know what, I am going through life change. Dang it, I am having catharsis, and I do need some insight. Be sure and reach out to Matt, who is doing some really cool astronomy, astrology, birth chart readings. There's always specials to be had. Check out our social media on the Astrology and Alchemy. Also, where else, Matt? I'm gonna type them. You say them. Where else do we got?
Ottoman Astrology, Astrology and Alchemy, ParanormalSarah.com. You can always email me at Yahoo. mslozer at Yahoo.
mslozer@yahoo.com. That's your direct email, guys. How much closer do you need to be? Do it. And you can also check out paranormalsarah.com. If you got that tax return, you're thinking you want to invest in yourself, you want a reading, you want an altar item, I've got really cool, weird stuff. And I do have to throw this out there because this is like cool, weird stuff like this. Trying to figure out what is the scene on this new locket that I have. It looks like people are being blessed. Some people having their head held over a table. Some people are in a wheelchair. Dogs are puking on the lawn. I don't know if it's a blessing or everyone's drunk. I don't know. I do not know. And I can't find out. So it's weird, haunted, cool items like this. And you can learn more on all of our social media sites, guys. But until next time, please join us on Odyssey Radio, on the Paranormal Channel, on all those places on the Matrix. And definitely next Tuesday for Astrology and Alchemy here with us, Matt and Sarah. Until then.
Have a great week, everybody.